Boris, we've had multiple conversations about the impact of physical environment on behavior, and you have a very strong opinion and an interesting lens of view into what that could be. Could you just talk a little bit about how you feel about that?
Well, first of all, I do feel the physical environment affects behavior for a lot of different reasons that are extremely personal. I started school in an environment that was much more calm. It was a much more learning environment. And by the second grade, and that was in Piscataway, New Jersey. It was interesting. We happen to be in Piscataway now. But eventually my family fell on hard times and we moved to New Brunswick, New Jersey, which was a completely different environment. It was more of a poverty-stricken environment, was run down with run-down schools. And the behavior was completely different, but not just the behavior in the environment, but eventually my behavior began to be shaped by the environment. You know, when you walk into an environment that has a tougher exterior, then your exterior tends to get tougher just in order to survive that environment. And recently, talking to one of Cory Booker's aides, I was trying to help them realize that when he asked the question if there's one thing that you could do, and I was talking about changing the spaces within those environments. And it was like imagining, like, okay, if you were to walk into a bowling alley, so to be loud, the energy will be turned up. Or if you walk into a church, you don't need anybody to tell you to bring your level down. The environment already coaches you to bring that level down. That's just a small example just to understand it, how these physical spaces and these environments affect your behavior. Now, you look at any long-term situations of being in these environments, eventually, over a certain period of time, this is your personality is actually shaped by that environment. And I believe that we were also discussing the environment of walking into the prison. And it was even professors, you know, when I was being educated in prison, who would say, like, just walking into this building, you know, it gave them an eerie feeling, you know, and they had to really respond to that environment. But when you walk into a dungeon, you know, it just changes you. You know, over time, just living there. I could even sit in the mess hall and I would watch the kids as they come into the mess hall. The mess hall was another environment within the environment. You know, Broadway was like, they used to call it a city within a city. So, as soon as they walk into the mess hall, they would puff up, you know, like, so just naturally, they would make themselves bigger, you know, just almost like, even the way they fix their shirts. And they're probably not even noticing they're doing it, but when I'm sitting there, I could just watch them as they come in. The body posture would change. But I just say that to say that when you walk into that environment, you change immediately. You get big, you get small, you get something, but that environment will shape you from the moment you walk into it, you know. And there was also other spaces within the jail that were more, I guess you would say there was much more of a normal space, much more of a normal environment, which was more like a dorm setting. Now you had hardcore guys who used to be in Broadway. And when you seen them in there, they walk like hardcore guys. And you know, they're in the yard, you know, they got the scullies on, you know, everything they're doing, they're sending the messages, I'm a real tough guy. And then you get transferred to the Down Under, which is still behind the wall, within the same facilities. It has its own mess hall. And what's funny is that the booths in the mess hall are exactly like the booths we're sitting in now. They're not, they look like a little McDonald's or something, you know, but the environment is completely different. You walk into the mess hall, the guys got Tupperware bowls because you're like in a minimum status. So you get to go to this, you know, this place where you don't have to wait for a cage. You eat, when you're done eating, you get up and you leave on your own. And the other mess hall is completely cages. You eat, and then you got to go to a cage. You have to be let in one cage, they'll slam that, and then they'll open the door for the other cage. A completely controlled environment. I guess in order to control your behavior. But the funny thing about it is that people are much more behaved in the environment where nobody's attempted to control your behavior. It's much more freedom there. You rarely have a fight in this area. Now mind you, got guys down there with life. You got guys down there serving 2 life sentences. There are no problems in this area. If a code go off in the Down Under, everybody is extremely surprised. You know, the officers, they sit on the wing, they play chess with the inmates. They might stand by your bed and watch TV. It's just a much more relaxed environment.
And there's less violence as a result?
Absolutely less violence. Because I know that people will say, well, if the guy goes to the camps, he's already proved that he can behave and he's phasing out. The Down Under is not like that. The down under is not the camps. The down under is, because you have guys who have homicides, they can't go to the camps. But they can go to this portion of the jail. You got guys who, it just says that each environment sets its own behaviors. Because the same guys that have a full-blown beef in Northern State, you put them in Rawway, and now they don't have the same beef. You know,
Because they know nobody's going to come and break it up. They have to monitor their own conduct.
they have to monitor their own conduct. Nobody's coming in that mess now. So each environment, and funny thing, the more confined it becomes, the more cages, the more police control and structure, the more violence.
That's completely counterintuitive, but that's
It
so
is.
interesting,
It
right?
is.